So then, Mark and I can't be together for Grumpy Old Gays this week, so we've decided that we will do some different bits of video from our individual ends and kind of edit them together. It's a really, really busy week for me. I'm not a big fan of travelling. I've just driven up the M6 and it was horrific. And at one point we were going 40 miles an hour for about 8 miles with the traffic signs basically saying, report of pedestrians. Were there any fucking pedestrians? No. Did they deserve to be run over if I had got to them? Absolutely. But no pedestrians, no running over. It's just, oh, can you hear the ice cream van? I wasn't ever one of those kids whose mum said, if it makes the noise, it means they've run out of ice cream. But I quite go with that kind of parenting.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, ice cream vans are a bit of a... Oh, yeah, let's not go there. So, the first thing I want to say this week, and it's really strange, I've got nobody to bounce off this week. I'm sure that's the same for Mark. But the thing I want to talk... You might have heard on the news that Molly May and Tommy have split. And when I saw that on the Facebook, I was like, oh, who are these two? I have no fucking idea who they are. They're just two Love Island people, and apparently they're famous. And mega famous. So it's like, it really makes me angry that, are we really counting these people as celebrities? Icons, I think one newspaper called them. In this day and age, is that the best role models we can come up with? It makes me so angry. It's the same as Jordan with her facelift, looking like she's been bandaged up like a mummy, going into the law courts for trying to explain why she was out of the country when her case was up in front of a judge and she was in Turkey. Well, we know why she was in Turkey. She was getting a new facelift, and everyone's saying, how can she afford that when she's a bankrupt? She's not paying for it. Whoever's following her around with a camera crew are paying for it. This is work for her. This is how she earns her money. It's just annoying. And the court system should have locked her up. That's what makes me angry. That's the first thing this week.
So then it's 7:10 in the morning. I'm sitting at Marylebone, at the Costa at Marylebone. Well, I mean, it's just down the road because they can't be bothered to get one in the station, which is annoying enough in itself. But I got really grumpy at 6 a.m. this morning because when I called for a cab last night, they went, no, there are no cabs available at 6 a.m. It'll have to be 6:15. And I thought, well, I won't be able to get the first train. I'll have to get the second train. And then the guy turns up at 6:05. Early, which is great, so I managed to catch the early train. But he said, oh no, it's nonsense. There were loads of us on this morning. I don't know why they said that to you. So why would they say that? So that's particularly annoying. I'm going to tuck into a bacon roll and try and enjoy that instead. I will update you from the airport later.
I'll tell you what winds me up. I'm in Asda. This really, really makes me angry. Let me see if I can move this round and turn the camera around the other way. I might need to splice this together another way. Can I turn the camera? Why can't I turn the camera around whilst I'm in the middle of the video? Let's do it another way. There we go. 3 onions, £1. Doesn't look like bad value to me. Doesn't look like bad value to me until you literally tap onions, brown onions. Individually, they would be 63p, but because somebody's put them in their net, they are £1. That's just extortion. How can they get away with that? That makes me really angry. That's a third more expensive. And when there's a cost of living crisis, surely bagging them up together saves them time and money and should make them cheaper. I always thought bagged up vegetables were cheaper, but actually you'd be better off just picking up individual onions and paying for them than 3 in a net. Wankers.
London City Airport, single-ply toilet tissue. I mean, it's as cheap as chips. And you obviously don't care about any of your people. What can I tell you?
Thanks, Mark. Well, one of the things that Really has annoyed me. I think as the weeks have gone on. Now, I apologise to anyone that's got any of these, but my gripe, my grumpiness, every year, July, August, the school holidays. Oh my God, every year, 6 weeks of hell. The shops being full of sprogs, the people not going to work so you can't get parked in the street. Everything takes precedence for 6 weeks of hell. You cannot describe to a single gay man how much the school holidays, I'm sure for parents it's a nightmare as well, because they've got to keep them entertained. But oh man, I don't mind the odd week here and there, the odd half term and Easter break and whatnot, and Christmas break, but 6 weeks of hell. Wouldn't it be better to spread it out a little bit, and make some of those half terms in the better weather into 2 weeks rather than just one solitary week? It would cut down the cost of holidays. The amount of cost of holidays for people going abroad in these 6 weeks must be, well, it's absolutely horrendous. I know people that are teachers, and the cost of flights and everything triples, quadruples in these 6 weeks. Just buck this trend, do away with it, do something to make life a little bit cheaper in order to take the kids away on holiday, make it more affordable to take them away on holiday, please, for my benefit. Oh, just get them out of my town. They're driving me absolutely nuts just by existing. Oh, Mark, over to you.
I tell you what I have noticed, there is a lot of COVID going around at the moment, but I've also noticed a lot of people coughing, and not coughing into their hands or their elbows or tissues, just coughing everywhere. And I've also noticed in public toilets, people not washing their hands. Now, boys have always been really bad at that. During COVID, they got much better at it, but it's about time we started washing our hands again, boys, all right?
So we're having a day of grumpiness apart. And next week we'll all be back together again, and we'll have loads more grumpiness. But this was one that I hadn't been expected. I've literally just walked into the kitchen and the television is on in the background like it normally is during the day. And this makes me grumpy. Actually not grumpy. This is something, not call it grumpy. Let's call it something I dislike. And I've quickly paused the television, and it's these two. The Speakmans. Let me just see if I can get the volume on there. These guys drive me absolutely nuts. They have... It's almost like they've set themselves up with no... Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say what I was about to say, but they've set themselves up, and neither of them seem to have any bloody confidence themselves. They both look like nervous wrecks. But here they are giving advice to people on how to overcome their fears. I think the last one was a fear of nuns in movies. Don't you bark at me, Hugo. Fear of nuns in the movies. Well, if you don't like nuns in the movies, don't go and see a film about nuns. Honest to God, don't watch The Sound of Music. Don't go and watch a horror film with nuns. It don't take much working out, does it? If you're afraid of spiders, don't go and watch a film about arachnophobia. And if you want to overcome the fear, then overcome it and go and watch the bloody movie with the nuns. But don't go on national telly talking to these two numpties. Oh, look, there's Nylon Rylan. Not a natural fibre in him. Josie's all right, I suppose. But the Speakmans, oh my God, if you've ever watched them, it's like they're both about to shit themselves at any moment.
Well, I think, as you can see, it is a beautiful day in Milan, and I don't think I've got anything to be grumpy about yet. Checked into the hotel. They were all really pleasant. They answered all the questions that I had. There was no taxi strike this time. So, so far, so good. I'm pretty sure I'll find something to be grumpy about, though. It ain't going to be the weather unless I get over hot, because it's about 35 degrees right now. Whew. Yes, it's very hot in Milan, and yes, that is a beautiful pool as well. It feels nice. Here's a thing that was very peculiar. In the supermarket, I picked up a bottle of wine for €2.49. But here in Milan, in the supermarkets, there are no screw-top bottles. So I had to pick up a corkscrew, and that was €6.49. Like €4 more than the actual wine. Hey-ho.
The final one for me this week, the final one for me this week is probably in the top 5 most inconsiderate things to do. And the actual action itself is not inconsiderate, it's the way it is done that makes it become inconsiderate. So I'm sitting here in the garden and you can't see, hear it, but I wish you could smell it. It is people having a bonfire, a garden bonfire, not just a bonfire, that's bad enough, but a garden bonfire, burning their garden rubbish because they want to. Not a knock at the door to say, we're going to have a bonfire. That would make it more considerate. We're going to have a bonfire. Just lighting one up and not giving a toss about anyone else enjoying the time in their garden. And it is so inconsiderate. It really, really is. It's like, I don't care of anyone else around me. I'm going to do this antisocial thing that's going to linger in the air for hours. And part of this, I blame the council, because the council in my area have this year started doing paid for garden waste collections. And my sources at the council say it's not worked. Barely anyone's taken up the subscription of £50 a year to do it. So as a result, all this garden waste is just being fly tipped or burnt in people's gardens. And I reckon this time next year they'll have aborted it, because it's just driving the community absolutely nuts. It really is. So that's my final one this week. And I think I'm going to hand over to Mark, who's got one more. See you next week when we're back together.
Well, I'm in bed after quite a long day. Ooh, I have been bitten to absolute buggery by mosquitoes. I'm not normally bothered by mosquitoes, but I have been eaten alive today. Nasty little bastards. You wait till I get my hands on them. Except they're a bit too small. Didn't even feel these ones coming. There wasn't a... And then you can smack it, but didn't even feel it coming. But they have absolutely devoured my leg. I've got about 6 bites in quite close proximity on my leg. It is not nice. The price we pay for good weather, huh?